Intro. Are you Cornholio? You look a little bit like Cornholio right now.
No. It's the newest fashion in mask wear.
Is it that cold?
No.
I've seen people doing that at the grocery stores.
I have seen people doing this at the grocery store, and I was inspired by their patriotism.
Yes.
So I'm just casually wearing my t-shirt up over my nose.
It looks like you're recovering from a weird surgery.
That's not entirely inaccurate. I guess I'll just go ahead and
welcome to the Get Offset podcast. My name is Emily, and who the hell is that guy?
This is a slightly less bearded Andrew.
Yes, for those who are just listening, Andrew trimmed up his beard, like trimmed it.
Lost about 4 inches, give or take. Yeah, it was getting pretty scraggly.
Yeah,
yep.
It was. See, I think I've mentioned this before, but like Rick for a while was growing out his hair, so he still has very long hair. It's beautiful, but he was also growing the beard out really long. And finally, I was like, I think you got to do one or the other, because to do both, it's just, it's maybe not the most professional thing to present in meetings at his like Fortune 500 company job or whatever. Yeah.
I didn't trim this up before I had a big thing at work last week. Probably should have, but I was only dealing with some very important people who were staring at me going like, okay, Mr. Homeless guy. So where am I going again? Where are you leading me down this dark hallway?
I think more and more like people aren't as super judgy about like whether or not their person that they're working with has facial hair. I mean, shoot, for the first time in like a very long time, people in Congress have facial hair.
And look how well that's working for Ted Cruz.
God. He does look better with it.
Does he?
I mean, the bar was, I don't want to say anything about someone's appearance. I think it's fine.
I don't know. It just adds to the used car salesman vibe for me. Anyways,
I think Taft was our last president with facial hair. He had a mustache. We haven't had a president with facial hair in like 125 years or something.
That should change. I think Joe should grow out the Santa beard. That'd be great.
Oh man, I bet he would. I wonder what that dude looks like with facial hair.
What if he can't grow a beard? Imagine all the soy boy jokes that would come out.
Well, people have been making the same person made a couple of comments on this podcast about.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I just responded, I'm allergic to soy, and also again, mammalian estrogen that you find in milk is more likely to affect a man's estrogen than
I don't know. Soy. I made some of the best steak I've had in my life last night, so been eating steak all week. I almost didn't eat steak this week, even though I got a whole bunch at Costco. Did I tell you? I guess you might not have been affected by this, but the power was out for us for like 18 hours early in the week.
Right. I wasn't affected. No.
Lucky. Yeah, no, we lost power at like midnight. We didn't get back to like 7, 8 p.m. So like 18, 19 hours, something like that.
I wouldn't have been able to do any work for an entire day, and that would have stressed me out so hardcore.
I mean, I had to go into the office that day. And the office had power, so that wasn't as big of an issue. But we had just gone to Costco on Monday and we got a whole fridge load. I was so freaked out. I'm like, no, don't make me throw out all of this. Got a really nice cut of a New York strip.
That sounds nice.
Yep. So that was a wild part of the weekend. I'm afraid I posted something on my personal social media the day before, and I said, I don't know who needs to hear this, but feel the rain on your skin. And then we get the worst rainstorm of the year, knocks out the power for 500,000. Like, dang it.
It was the wind.
I know. It's all of it together was just nasty. I'm like, no. About this time last year, I was like, the world needs a new plague. Totally jokingly. And And then we got a plague. And then this year I said, feel the rain in your skin. Power gets knocked out for 500,000. It's these accidental sayings. It's killing me.
Yeah. I mean, be careful what you wish for and all that.
I wasn't even wishing for it.
Was it like a reference to a hymn or something? What was that?
Feel the rain on your skin?
I don't know. Sometimes you say things that I don't understand.
No one else can feel it for you?
No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else. No one else. That song's a banger, dude.
It is.
Dang. Oh, Natasha Bedingfield.
There you go. I was waiting for it.
I know who she is. She's from some weird famous family, I think.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Oh. No, anyways,
yeah. We haven't done this in a minute.
Yeah, no, we took a week off. We were pre-recorded an episode, which I think we did a little bit more frequently when we were first starting out. We were recording every other week. And then at some point we kind of just shifted into recording every week, like a couple of days before lunch. And I think that's been a really good rhythm, but we needed the week off. And so it was nice. I had a good weekend. And then this weekend's a 3-day weekend. Like, what is this?
Oh, for you.
Yeah.
Though I will say my job had like our annual summit. So we didn't do like work. We did like some team building things. We did some like forecasting things. So it wasn't like I wasn't like in the Google Docs.
Everyone hold your hands together. Like all 5 of you hold your hands together in the shape of a bowl. And then we're going to pour plaster into your hands. You have to hold it together. Is it just things like that? I don't know.
No,
I've seen some weird team building things.
We played some weird, like, I don't want to call it weird. It was like an RPG, like Dungeons and Dragons style. And the guy who ran it, his name is Dante, and he did it. It was really cute. It involved bears, and we were trying to there was Bear Nom, and we were trying to steal a guitar from Bear Nom, and there was Steve Vai was there. Nam. I don't know why I do that, dude. I can't say Nam. Is that how?
Dang, damn it!
I think Vietnam. Nam.
Man,
sound like a Peanuts character.
My grandpa's like, I remember Nam, and I'm like, I do too, because I went last year and I can't go this year.
Well, you can. It's free.
Well, you can go virtually.
I'm doing it.
I woke up this morning to Facebook reminding me of like, this is your memory from a year ago. It's like me in the long line to get my my badge for NAMM. And I'm like walking into the convention center. I'm like, dang it. It's been a year. It's been a year.
It's been a year.
Yep. We're approaching like a full year since everyone had to, go into hiding, before the dark times.
Dude, I do regret not, because I had the time off. I had the money and I just didn't go. It was I was like, it's Andrew's thing. I just did summer and he can do winter.
It was a great time, sponsored by Covenant Cables. They sponsored NAMM last year. It was great. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah.
I'm actually still using the so they gave me the couple of these cables for the sponsorship, so I've been using it all year. So this nice Covenant Cables XLR.
That's exactly what I'm using, actually.
I think it's like the Remnant series, I want to say.
I don't know. You can't see it. My webcam's not equipped. It's fine. It sounds good though, don't it?
It does.
It sure do. Yeah, but Believe in Music Week is this year's virtual NAMM event.
Do you believe in music?
Do you believe in music? In a musician's heart? No, what? Oh yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I was kind of poking around at the sessions and creating a weird calendar thing, and friended Layla City from Tunatown and a couple other people. So that was fun. So I'm up on there and I'm into it.
What I was thinking about doing to simulate NAMM again is, I just got this I got this in the last couple of weeks in the mail, which is my Strymon Night Sky. It is most excellent, and but I haven't had a ton of time to plug in and play with it. Been focused on my family time lately, and so I was thinking like I could still like experience the magic of playing something new around this time of year when I'm just going to plug in with headphones and then have my family yell at me.
Why would they yell at you?
I'll turn up the radio super loud. The family will just start like they'll yell at each other, and I'll just try and listen to this luscious reverb as much as I can, even though I can't really hear much other than the ambient noise. I think that'd be a really great way to remember NAMM.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Like what's the noise floor at NAMM?
I think it's supposed to be like 85 decibels.
That's very loud.
That's not that bad. That's like church loud. It's like just loud enough to upset the seniors at a church.
Upset everybody at the church. I'm struggling a little bit.
Really?
Today. That's loud, dude. Like that is like above. Hold on. I'm trying to.
No, most churches that I've gone to mix for, they usually just say keep it under 90, which I can do. So 85, 86 is typically my target.
Safe noise levels.
Oh, I didn't say it was safe. I just said it wasn't that loud. There's a difference.
At any sound at or above 85 is likely to damage your hearing over time.
Over time is the key, though.
You got to get those in-ears and just walk around with them. Custom molded. Yep.
I should have done that last year, but the line was so long.
Who was doing them?
I think Ultimate Ears every year. I want to say it was Ultimate Ears, or maybe it was someone else. But
they do the scan.
Yeah, the free molding.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to, which is really expensive actually if you go to like your
audiologist. Yeah. But they have the CSX series too that doesn't go as deep. It only goes to the first bend, and that has an at-home fit kit. Yeah, so you just take your own mold, send it back, and 7 to 10 business days later.
That is the thing with in-ears. It's it can be a little intrusive feeling. It takes some getting used to.
Yeah, but when it goes into the second bend, like that eliminates a lot of the ambient stage noise. So I think they also have like optional venting if you still want to get in a little bit of that ambient sound.
Talk about a sales pitch like, hey, we can block out all of the sound, but you don't have to. Like, we can let a little bit in if you want.
Well, you have to have the venting, otherwise you get that like weird occlusion effect where it feels like plungers and you can like hear your own heartbeat.
Yep.
So you have to have some venting anyway. But theirs have like, because a lot of musicians do complain about like they still want to be able to hear a little bit of stage noise. So
sure,
they allow you to do that with, I think, everything except for their like reference remaster series, which is really made to be used in a studio while you're mixing and mastering.
Sure. Yeah.
I've obviously been reading a lot about Ultimate Ears lately.
I understand. Makes sense.
Oh my god. So I mean, I'm interested in it. I'm interested to see what they do. I know that people are working really, really hard to make it kind of like a worthwhile sort of deal. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with the flow. It's a weird year. People are doing their best, and I don't really want to, say anything negative about anybody.
Sure.
I don't really know what there is to say that's negative, but
I could probably find something negative just for the sake of being negative. But that doesn't mean I believe it.
Man, we do get those negative comments sometimes.
Negative comments are what I eat for breakfast.
Oh, then don't. Okay,
at least when but only if I
read our iTunes reviews. Then have fun.
Yeah, so I'll read those while I eat my edamame beans for breakfast.
Edamame, yuck!
Yeah, all that soy.
Ugh. Very allergic. Okay, so what's you talked about your night sky? Is there anything else new with you?
Well, quick note on the night sky. It's sick. It does some really cool original things, and I think my favorite part of this is playing with the envelope options. My favorite sound that I've done so far, I don't know how I would use this, but it's it sounds like a normal reverb until you stop playing, and then it just pitch shifts ow, through the tail of the reverb. It is this really hard stop Doppler effect kind of sound. It is just But like as long as you're playing, like keeping the input level going in more or less, like in between, like strums will like dip a little bit because I had it set for like an immediate, like really fast. So it was just giving like a little bit of warble, but then just like kind of just stopping in between. Like I think that would be so sick for like a band break. Everyone hits the snare really loud, everyone stops, and then jump back into it. Just something like that. I don't know. I'm finding myself like digging into it and having some fun with the noises and instantly finding myself going, that's weird, that's cool, and I could see how I could use that in a band context. And it's making me want to go jam with folks.
That's like the trifecta: weird, cool, can use in band. Yeah,
totally. No, it hits everything across the board for what I'd want out of this, and nice. I don't regret this whatsoever. Pretty excited with it. So there's that, and then I also got this nice shirt. It says make
riffs sick again.
Yeah. This is from my friend Steve Torres. Thanks, Steve. He sent this over to me. We traded shirts. I sent him, and it is swell with my soul shirt. So
I have a hat that says "Make America Read Again," but I don't wear it because I can't. Why would I do that? I did not buy that hat. It was a gift, and I'm like, I hate it.
Is it red?
No, it's black and gold.
I mean, that's better.
I mean, it's still the same font. It actually might say "Make Reading Great Again." I really think it should just be "Make America Read Again."
Make America read good again.
Do you want to hear about what's new with me?
I mean, hey, Emily, what's new with you?
I got another ukulele.
Ooh.
It's the Billie Eilish ukulele. And this week was basically ukulele week on the Get Offset demo channel, and I honestly expected more views than it got, so. But I very much look forward to playing this with Maya.
It took me the first few times looking at that. That'd be fun to play together.
Yeah,
it took me the first few times looking at that pattern to realize it's like the outline of a human, like in the middle.
Yeah. It has these Fishman electronics, and honestly, like, I don't love the tuner on this thing. It's not very responsive.
Sure.
They can be what?
The Fishman preamp. I typically like the sound is fine enough. I've never had an issue with the sound, but the tuner, I've gone back and forth on whether or not I dig it.
It's just like 3 lines, red on one side, red on the other side, and green in the middle. And it's not really showing you when you're getting closer. And I really hate it. It is so stupid. Sorry.
It just goes, keep going. Oh, you're good. Oh, you're too far now. And
yeah.
Yep.
No, but I think it's attractive. It feels luxurious, honestly.
Oh, it's totally got like a Gucci vibe with the print.
Gucci. And it's got like the abalone.
Oh, fancy.
Rosette.
No, I can't. When I look at that, all I can find myself thinking is, Uke should see me in a crown. It does sound nice.
Thank you.
How does it stack up with the jazzy?
If I only could buy one, I would have just done the Jazzmaster one. It's all I would need. I feel like if you really want to like play the uke as like your company instrument as like a singer-songwriter, and you're going to be plugging directly into PAs, then you'll really want that Fishman preamp with the bass middle, with a 3-band EQ basically, versus just single tone control. And it feels nicer. It's more luxurious. It's obviously a lot better built. But just like for what I would use it for, I just need the bang around Jazzmaster one.
Sure.
But like I look at that one and it's not like the world's best construction, and like sometimes some of the lines are kind of weird. Like if you watch the video, I actually did a video that was kind of a battle a battle of the ukes. The Billie Eilish is a better instrument. I don't need that much instrument
Sure.
when it comes to ukuleles. So
yeah, no, that seems like a totally fair thing to say. I'm very curious too. I want to do some weird like octafuzz stuff.
I mean, I literally was planning on filming. I've been planning on filming this OC5 demo for like a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I plug it in, I'm like, I don't know where to start. Almost like it's a lot of pedal.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I definitely want to do it going into like a rat. So I have the woodcutter. I'm going to be running it through. I think it was a Sweetwater demo that had it going through like a rotary to give it an organ sound. And then I was like, then just get an organ sound pedal.
Well, I mean, that's what like the I've got the EQD. Oh my goodness.
Organizer.
Thank you. I've got that sitting on my board, and I've been enjoying that for years. And I mean, it's just got that nice little warble that goes with it. That just kind of makes it sound pretty natural. I don't know. That seems right.
And I have the SY1, which has a host of organ sounds.
I'm excited for the OC5 because the OC2 simulation, I think, is what I'd really use it for a lot, because the vintage OC2s haven't been crazy expensive, but I mean, they can go upwards of $200.
Yeah, they're more expensive than I think you would want to pay for what it is.
Sure.
And like the tracking isn't as good on the vintage mode, but I prefer the vintage mode to the poly mode. I thought
the point is it tracks bad. That's the magic of it.
Yeah. Well, charming tracking.
I mean, that's it's so good on bass with an OC2 and that kind of glitchy tracking through a fuzz pedal. I mean, that's such a ooey gooey yummy synthy sound. Say that 5 times fast. There's something about the magic of that glitchiness. I don't know. I think I've told this story in the podcast before. When I was working at Guitar Center, someone brought in a Japanese OC2 to sell. And I remember like plugging it to test it. And I had to check with a coworker. I'm like, is this broken? Like, I don't understand. Because I had never played like an analog polyphonic, like monophonic kind of situation. And I'm like, this just doesn't sound right. It's kind of cool, but like, is it supposed to do this? And like, dude, is that the Black Label? I'm like, and I was learning, and sure enough, they got all hyped on it, and we had to call the vintage department. Did not end up buying it. But I thought about buying it for myself, and I don't know. It's just one of those, like, at first, I didn't quite get it. Once I got it, I'm like, oh, I get it now. Oh, wait a minute. No, this is cool. I've heard this sound before. I recognize that sound. I've heard it on the records.
Yeah.
And to see that in an OC5 at a more, I don't know, you don't have to worry about getting it recapped or anything.
I was having some fun with doing some Prince stuff, because he pretty famously uses the OC2 like in the intro to When Doves Cry and a couple solos. It's really I had an OC3 and I used it a lot to beef up solos. That was really what I like to use it for, because it had that dirty mode,
right?
And so I've been just kind of playing this through the woodcutter to kind of get that sort of vibe about it. It's been fun, but it's like, oh god. And then I like made the mistake of asking patrons, like, what do you see me do with this pedal? And they're like, everything. I'm like,
no, I mean,
I don't know.
No, there's
guitar. I'm like, no.
There's 3 things that I'd want to see the OC5 do well at. And I'd want to know if they do well before I'd want to buy. One is the OC2, because the OC3 just didn't sound great. And so I want to know, I liked it. I've never, OC3 never sounded quite right to me. I could never get on with it, and that's why I went with an EQD organizer. Even though I had less control over the warble in the organizer, because there is no control for it. I liked how it sounded less sterile. Like, at least with an Electro-Harmonix POG, it sounds sterile, but it's a very recognizable, very usable sterile sound, because it's meant to be used. The OC3 just never hit right for me. So I want to know if the OC2 simulation sounds good. I want to know if it can hang with a POG, with the
I
just
don't
the
have a
more.
pog to compare it to. Actually, I could get access to one. Sunday. It's Rick.
Hi, Rick.
What did Tom Kelly want us to say next time Rick was bringing?
Coming in with that big Rick attitude. Is that what it was? No, you
it
already
was
said that. What did Tom say? Tom said to say something.
He said, "Say, can you?" Oh, thank you. We gotta find it now. Where was it in episode talk?
For those of you wondering where we're looking at the Get Offset Patron Discord server.
Oh, it's Sunday, nothing but Rick. I don't get it.
I'm sure it's a reference from a movie that came out before I was born.
So, yes, we have, if you support us on Patreon at patreon.com/getoffset, at the $5 level or above, you get access to our super secret Discord account, which, Discord channel, which means sometimes
Discord server.
We do the things you ask us to do. Or you give me anxiety when I ask what you want me to do with the OC5, and then you're like, everything.
OC5.
I'm not going to do anything with it.
I want to know if it can do how it chalks up to OC2. I want to know if it can hang with a POG. And when I say hang with a POG, like I don't necessarily mean like exact, like, what's that?
It's I don't know. It's something from David Ishizaka.
Oh, okay.
It's the weird, what's that pickup-y thing that you put on the...
Oh, the submarine pickup?
Oh, yeah. I need to look up how this works.
So for a lot of people, when they use a POG, they're adding it with all the other effects. So I don't necessarily need it to like pound for pound match up with the POG clean. I would want it to be able to replace a POG on a board with all the other effects for the applications I'd want to use it for. I mean, I think ambient PDub kind of washy sounds. And then the third thing I want to know is not necessarily a deal breaker by any means, but a lot of hype's been put on the lowest note algorithm. And the reason why I'd want to know about that is
church stuff.
I mean, especially right now with a lot of churches that are meeting with a limited in-person attendance or no in-person attendance at all, and certainly should be all live streaming if possible. I mean, you've got a lot of folks have had a very limited a number of people that they could get in their band for a Sunday morning church service. And so instead of wanting to do a stripped down acoustic set every single week, just out of the necessity of things, I mean, trying to build out a multi-instrumentalist with less instrumentalists is always, even before COVID, but even now, seems like a noble goal to want to achieve. And so my thought process is you get maybe a Fender Acoustasonic or whatever it might be, and you just want to run the second output with the bass, run it through a DI, run it into an amp or whatever, and just have that off to the side as your accompaniment bass sound. If that could do it well, that would be great. Not the end of the world if it can't, but if it could do it well enough for a Sunday morning, I think that would be a huge selling point, and I'd start recommending that to my friends who would lead worship at churches. My coffee's kicked in. Sorry, I'm talking it really.
How about I do as much as I can with this pedal, and then you
steal it,
do more with it,
and eventually possibly give it back, maybe.
I think it's a cool pedal. Like, here's the thing, and this is something that people talk about in regards to demo channels a lot, is that people complain that we never say we don't like something and that we don't cover things that we don't like. And the thing is, I'm never going to say that something is bad, because listen, this does what it's supposed to do. This is a good pedal. I've played it a lot. I think it sounds like the OC2 when it's on the vintage mode. I think the poly stuff is fine. It's just like, this does not fit into the music that I make for the most part. And that's fine. It doesn't have to be for everybody. I feel like, especially white dudes, throw you under the bus, but like, especially us white people, we're like, it has to be for us or we don't like it. I'm like, not everything has to be for you as a musician, as a human being. It's like, it's okay for things to just be like, oh, that's for somebody else. I hope they enjoy it. And I know people will enjoy this pedal that was not made with me in mind.
Sure. And I think another great example where people get all up in arms about like, this isn't the feature set that I wanted. And then like 6 weeks later, they're like, oh, this sounds way better than anything else I've had. Literally this right here, the Strymon Night Sky has been the epitome of that for a lot of folks on the forums that just immediately everyone just crapped on it. In a lot of the worship forums, I'm sitting here like, no, actually that looks like that could be really usable. Like, what are you guys talking about? And then I'm already seeing hey, look guys, new gear day. What's in the box? It's a Strymon box. Oh, look, it's a Night Sky. Woohoo. We're going to play this in church this week. And I'm just like, I swear I saw some of these people saying that this is a huge fail from Strymon, and just, I'm sure everyone at Strymon is just kicking back like, keep talking. We'll wait for your check.
Yeah, so that's all I want to say about it.
Gotta like, stop being so quick.
And again, like, just sometimes like you can play through something, you'd be like, this sounds good. Because the thing is, like, I don't think there are a ton of pedals that sound bad. I don't think a lot of those make it to market, and I don't think a lot of those end up getting demoed by me for one reason or another. And it's just a matter of, is this for you? You got ears.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, shall we do sponsors?
Yes. Did you know that you can sponsor the Get Offset podcast?
What?
Yes, we are. I mean, we have sponsor room, but
you're getting paid for this?
Yeah. I am. I do the work, buddy.
I know you do. For anyone who's wondering, Emily does do most of the work for this channel. I'm the support squad, and you should thank her for all of the hard work she does.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Andrew. But we have the Patreon we've mentioned. You can also support us by purchasing our things on getoffsetpodcast.com/shop, including our new Schematics shirt that we discussed last week. We sold zero. We sold 0 of them.
If nothing else, I just love. I've dropped it into a couple of forums just to like, when people start arguing about stuff, and I think people are just mad that I'm right when I just drop that in there. It just fits their conversation exactly. They're like, I don't know, Josh Scott listed a clone for $500,000 on Reverb. Like, imagine what the fees are. I'm like, that's okay, guys. Let me just.
Reverb badly wants that pedal to sell. They're like, buy it.
No, I think it's just they only can take up to $500. I think is the deal. That's the max. So
that's like a $10,000 instrument. Is that what $500 works out to be?
Something like that. I don't know.
Is that $100,000? You can also check out our affiliate links for Reverb.com and Sweetwater and DistroKid. Save 7% on your first year of DistroKid if you use our affiliate link. And how else? Oh, by liking, commenting, subscribing, and leaving us a review on iTunes.
DistroKid can save you 7% or exactly 7% in 7 minutes or less.
Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it.
By using the Get Offset affiliate link.
distrokid.com/VIP/GetOffset. This podcast is also sponsored by Partscaster Concierge. Gary at Partscaster Concierge has a host of guitar Partscaster bodies that you can customize for your pickup and wiring hardware desires. So it's a lot less expensive than going to Warmouth, and you can get exactly what you want. He'll even finish the whole project for you if you really would like him to do that.
Define whole project.
He'll put the guitar together.
Oh, well, that's really sweet.
The custom builds. But yeah, so he's got a lot of great shapes.
That reminds me, I need to double check with Melissa and circle around for that conversation again. So we were talking about doing a build together for our anniversary, which is last week.
Really cute, yeah.
Yeah, it was our 5-year anniversary. Apparently, 5-year anniversary gifts are supposed to be wood.
Oh.
I don't know which. I'm sure there's some sort of list that's been around since like the 1800s for that. I don't know.
I know the first is like paper,
and then I forgot after that. We've kind of just done our own thing every year. It's been really fun and cute, but I need to talk to Melissa. We've got some ideas. I think I've got some ideas on what I think I'd want to do. But I want to talk it over with her, kind of sort it out. And we'll see where we go from there.
I know you were thinking telly shape, perhaps.
I'm leaning Strat. And what I really want for a neck, I don't know if I'd be able to get my hands on one, but I think what I really want is an all rosewood neck with block inlays.
Oh gosh, I hope you have like $300, $400 set aside for Warmouth.
We'll see.
Phew, them's expensive, but they're local. They're in Puyallup.
Fender with the Parallel Universe, the Jazz Strat or whatever. It's the Strat in a Jazzmaster body. They've got that neck. I saw that. I'm like, I want that. I want that neck. And I think they did it like in a surf green variant. I think surf green variant with the gold anodized pickguard, which I'm not a huge fan of anodized pickguards personally. I mean, it looks fine, but if I swap that out for like a mint pickguard, I think that could look really sweet.
Oh my God, Andrew, an all rosewood neck with just dot inlays on the Fender side is $700.
Alrighty. Maybe I don't want.
Maybe you don't want that.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what I go. All right. I'm just gonna go cry.
It's all the Strat neck. Neck wood, rosewood.
As it turns out, the proletariat life is not the life for me.
Yeah, they don't even have those in stock.
No, but the did you see the? Let me. You got to see the guitar that I'm talking about, though. It was the.
No, I've seen it. What kind of? I'm just gonna pick modern for you. Start building rosewood. Do you want the dark rosewood? That's more expensive.
Parallel Universe Volume 2. So I'm pulling up the guitar that's inspiring me right now. I kind of want a Strat pickup configuration like an HSS. Oh, okay. And the Fender website is broken?
No, I was just literally just there.
No, I'm trying to oh no, it's happening. Oh no. I'm just trying to select Parallel Universe Volume 2. And it's not letting me.
It would probably be at least $400 for you to get that neck from Warmouth.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Custom build your own Strat neck. Shaft wood.
Did you just laugh at that?
I'm sorry. I am this way. Indian rosewood. There we go.
I think what I'm more likely to do instead of going to Warmouth is just talking to Gary and be like, hey, I've got this crazy wild idea. What are your thoughts? Is this possible? And just, I want to see what he's got to say first before I venture out, because I really like Gary. He's been really good at this so far.
Does he do necks?
I know his big thing right now is bodies, but I'd be curious to see what he can whip up. I don't want to make any promises. I don't want to make any assumptions here, but I'll call him. I'll talk to him. I do want to move on, not leave our listeners completely hanging here. I've got a topic for us today.
You what?
I know. I've got a topic. And
normally it's me.
I know. No, so I've been inspired with a stroke of like scratching my head itis, reading the news over the last couple of weeks. And I've noticed there's been two particular company moves that are very similar yet very different in the last month. And it struck me that the owners of the two separate companies are probably in more or less the same position and made two very different decisions. And I'm just very curious looking at it, and just, I thought it'd be worth bringing up and just taking a look at what that means, and thoughts for our listeners. So to speak less cryptically, 2 companies have sold in the last month. The first company, which is what everyone's been talking about, is Mesa Amplifiers, is sold to Gibson. Gibson's owned by KKR. So really, Mesa has sold to KKR when you get down to brass tacks. So the owner's 75. He's been doing this for a very long time. And it sounds like from the interviews, he's still planning on being involved. He's just more or less cashing out the name of the brand and just continuing to work and have fun in his retirement. And as an owner of the company, I think he has every right to want to cash out and to see the fruits of his labor. I think estimates for Mesa's net worth are kind of all over the place, but most of the estimates I've seen so far agree that Mesa seems to make tens of millions of dollars a year in income, which is wild.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. And so, I mean, in terms of like annual sales, it's probably reasonable to say that when he sold Mesa to Gibson, he made bank. That dude's living the dream.
Yeah.
More power to him. But a slightly different approach from another company that I think has flown under the radar a little bit is Taylor Guitars has sold this week.
Oh, right. I like that one. That one makes me happy.
And they didn't sell to some investment company. They sold under an employee stock ownership program. So now it's 100% employee owned. So the owner said, you know what, everyone who's been with this company thus far, you've helped make this possible. We want to recognize your contributions, and we're going to make it possible for you to own this company together. And that way they can remain independent.
That's so beautiful.
And I'm just looking at the two going, I mean, I'm sorry. I think what Taylor did just makes so much more sense. And reading through the interviews with the owners of Taylor, and they're saying, yeah, we thought about bringing on like an investment company to kind of essentially buy the company out so we could, I mean, they've put in a whole lot of hard work themselves. I mean, I think as the owner of the company, I think it's totally fair ball that they would want to own or to cash out on the hard work that they've done over the years.
Totally. It's like all these songwriters selling their songwriting, selling their publishing.
Sure. I mean, that is so the sentiment of I'm getting older. I want to make sure that there's a way for the brand to be succeeded by a new generation of ownership. I think that's a very important thing. And I think both of those are obviously very valid and legal ways to do it. I've been really struck by how rad it is of Taylor to have gone through the process of ensuring that it remains owned by its employees. I think that's really, really neat. And I'm not willing to go as far as to say that I think what Mesa did was wrong, because obviously, like, you've got a right to sell your company.
That's not right. It's not wrong.
No, it's not wrong at all. It's his company.
Like, it's like wrong versus like the decision that we think is a better one.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's like the right decision versus like the wow, that's like a rock on dude decision.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, people should be able to like retire. I firmly believe that, and people should be allowed to make money off of their, work. But I really like the idea of selling to your employees who helped you make this whole thing possible. Like, I think that's a really beautiful thing that just doesn't really happen that much.
I think it's an interesting way of bucking capitalism a little bit. I know that sounds like so progressive of me. Look at man, I started the show as a recovering conservative. Look at me now. No, I think in the sense of like challenging the hubris of I own the company, therefore all of it should be mine, versus I started this company and look at all of the people that have helped me bring it to where it's at. I think there's something really beautiful about that. Now, what I don't want to imply is that the owner of Mesa has not then shared with some of its other employees that I don't want to assume that he's completely owned and that none of the sales profits have gone to some of the employees that have been with them for the longest. I don't want to say that because they've been very private about their numbers. There's not been a publicly announced number for how much Mesa sold for. They haven't said how that money's being distributed. I mean, they're being pretty close to the chest, but I don't know.
I think that's rare.
I think it's fairly safe to assume that there's percentage-wise more going to Taylor's employees than there's going to Mace's employees that have been around for a while. I don't think that's an unreasonable assumption to make. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's unreasonable.
I would love to be wrong.
Sure. No, I think it's a really interesting take on the hubris of company and brand ownership, and brand succession. And I think that, I don't know, it's a really neat thing. I don't know how else to say that without being overly gushy.
It's neat. It was kind of unexpected. Like I wouldn't expect places to do that. I don't know how many places in general have done that. I don't know how many companies are like publicly owned or actually like owned by employees or actually owned by the public. I mean, the most I can think of was like a coffee shop in Brooklyn that was owned by the community. It did really poorly. It's such a great place. I love that place, but damn, you would order an organic salad for $10 and they wouldn't have it, so they would go across the street and buy it for 12 and sell it to you for 10. I'm like, that's not good business.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
That's just economics.
Sure.
The Green Bay Packers are community owned.
Green Bay Packers are the only NFL team that's community owned, which was wild when I found out. And apparently, like, that's like they've got clauses to where you can pass down your stock like to your kids, like your stock in the Green Bay Packers. It's a cult, I swear. But I mean, they made it.
It's not a cult. That's not what a cult is.
They made it to the NFC Championship again.
That's not what a cult is.
This will be like their 5th or 6th time making it to the NFC Championship and not making it to the Super Bowl the last decade.
Always the bridesmaid. At least it wasn't like the Buffalo Bills in the 80s went to the Super Bowl like 4 years in a row and lost every single time. Oof.
So moving on from gushing a little bit on how rad it is of Taylor and the fact that they've been planning this for 7 years. I think another thing that looking at this in less from a challenging the hubris of like what ownership really looks like and what that means from a definition standpoint. I think seeing companies retain independence, I think is really neat. I think that goes a long way to giving customers or allowing customers to retain their sense of trust. And I think that's what I've seen a lot of with the Mesa acquisition is a lot of customers immediately have been like, oh, hold on to your pre-Gibson Mesas. Those are going to be worth money in 10 years. And that's where people are automatically jumping to. I'm not saying they're right, but people immediately when they've read the news about Mesa being bought up by Gibson, which is owned by KKR, and therefore KKR, a large investment company, owns Mesa Boogie right now.
Yeah.
I think the trust relationship is immediately damaged. And I don't know how quantifiable that is, but from a qualitative business assessment standpoint, I mean, there's not a lot of trust in Gibson right now. Gibson's trying to through the long road of rebuilding trust over what the previous CEO led them through. Being owned by an investment company post bankruptcy is not helping that. And now Mesa is going that route, and everyone's now concerned about quality control. You're seeing the jokes about like, oh, well, now my head's going to fall off the cab. I mean, it's fun. It's funny.
Yeah. You also think about like other brands that have been purchased, like DOD, and those eventually kind of getting wiped out. Yeah,
DOD got bought out by Samsung as part of the larger Harman acquisition. Samsung's like, we don't hardly know that they exist. We're just going to let them here. Go to the corner, sell what's left of your stock, and we'll just be done with you. They don't see the value in it.
Yeah,
and business on that level is very different than business on the level that a lot of this industry operates on, which is relatively small companies. Some companies have investors. I mean, we've talked about that previously. It's not strange, but having a little bit of like venture capital, like high risk investment is very different than like a very large investment company you're being owned by Samsung. And what they're more interested in is return on investment. What IP do you own? That's kind of what a lot of those companies are looking for is like, let's look at your IP. Now we're going to sue everyone to try and just make the most of that IP. Because if we can kick out everyone we can out of that IP realm, now we've got the full hold on that. And we can then start reeling in all the cash on that intellectual property. I mean, that's kind of just makes sense from a business standpoint, but it seems really heartless to a much smaller industry that's more relationship driven.
Yeah.
And seeing Taylor's not a small company. I think they're the largest provider of instruments in the industry right now.
Well, I know that baby Taylors are sold out through like the end of 2022 or something.
Yeah, I've got a source from
They're
Taylor
wildly popular.
sent me a message. We were talking about like how far back like their dealer orders are back ordered, and they're like, yeah, we're like 100,000. I want to say it was like 100,000 guitars for like so they're like, even at their production schedule, they're not going to be able to fill current active orders to dealers for like another year, just because of, not like because they're behind. It's just like there's so much demand that they've generated.
Yeah.
And
you know, it's been a really
don't quote
great
me on that
year.
number because I'm not looking at it. Don't quote me on the number.
Just a lot. Just a lot.
It's significant, and that's not entirely abnormal either for the industry to have, for the numbers to be working out that way. So don't hear like they're behind schedule. That's not what that means.
No. I mean, it's just like guitars take time to build because wood takes time to cure, and
oh yeah,
it's almost like part of it's like investing in futures if you're a certain size. Like,
well, yeah, for retailers to buy guitars before they've been made, super common. I mean, I know retailers before custom shop lines are even announced publicly, they're already sold out to all the retailers.
Well, this also happens in music too, like record store day. Like you talk to the record store and you're like, what are y'all going to get? And they're like, well, we can tell you what we ordered, but we can't tell you what we're going to get.
Right.
Because of course we ordered like a lot of everything, but the truth is like not a lot exists of everything.
Right.
You know, think about like this, even like Squire's paranormal series. A lot of those were sold out before they were finished, like rolling off the assembly line.
Sure. And so that's all very, very normal business stuff. But for Taylor to be such a big player in the industry right now and to still be able to pull this off, I think that goes a long way for me personally to trust them, to love them. Taylors have always seemed like the perfect performance acoustic instrument to me personally. I love the way Martin sound on a couch. I don't like how they sound in a mix typically, like that big giant dread sound. Maybe the smaller OM.
I like the odds.
Yeah, the Odd series are great for live performance. But unless it's literally just you and a guitar and a microphone, a Dreadnought.
That's what dreads are made for.
Right. And those are great for that. Yeah. And really, personally, I want an HD28V, but just reading through what Taylor's done here, honestly, it makes me want to go spend a couple of grand that I don't have just to be like, you guys are awesome. I want your brand on my wall behind me. I want to feel like I'm a part of the story. I mean, that's just so incredibly neat to see for me.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, it also makes me really bummed to see a brand that's very well loved like Mesa kind of get dragged through the mud through the process of the sale. I'm like, I like Mesa. I've been to the Mesa store on Sunset Strip. I mean, the people that work there are really nice. I've heard nothing but great things about the owner, the build quality over the years. They're still innovating, doing some really cool stuff. The sound of a dual rectifier is always going to be cemented in my, because that's just such a great sound for metalcore and all the heavier sounds. I mean, it's such a great brand.
I think Prince played Mesas, so they're obviously versatile.
They're great.
Yeah,
they've been great for so long, and I hate seeing the name get trashed in the process of this acquisition. It doesn't surprise me. I think that goes a long way for a brand that's already so loved, for it to immediately go to like boom, and people would be joking like, haha, Gibson's buying Mesa so they can be outdone in yet another product line by Fender. Like jokes like that. I'm like, oh my God. Why? I guess I'm kind of comparing these two acquisitions, and I can't help but look at it and go,
they couldn't be more different. They could not. They're like polar opposites.
Very, very different. Aside from the fact that the owners get more or less cashed out, and rightfully so, I think given how long they've been around, and that's the cashing out part completely makes sense. That's part of the game. More power to them. I'm really happy for them. 100%. It's just the rest of it. Comparing the two acquisitions, Taylor made out way better. I'm sorry. That's kind of where I land.
From a PR perspective, if nothing else.
Sure. From a PR perspective, from a doing the more right thing, not to say that, I mean, we said earlier, it's not like Mesa did anything wrong necessarily. I don't hold that against them.
I don't think they did anything wrong.
No.
I just think that, like we said, there's like the thing that's totally right to do and like good for you. And I'm really glad when people can reap the rewards of their hard work. But there's also like the bro thing to do, like that. Yeah, man, that's really, really cool. And I wish more people would do that.
So I'm really excited to see where Taylor goes. I've got, in terms of customer trust, I've got a whole lot of trust that they're with the independence that they have retained, that there's going to be some good things coming. I think with Mesa, I still want Mesa to do really well. Got nothing but love for the brand and the folks there, and I want to see them succeed under this new ownership. And I think the hope is that under the new ownership, it's more of a hands-off, we'll just fund what you need, but you guys keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. I hope it's that kind of acquisition and not a hands-on, now we're going to just go sue everyone who's ever made an amp that looks sort of like yours, go through your IP portfolio. And
they're going to do
that. I know internally it's kind of what I'm expecting, but I hope that I'm hope that's not right, because that's just going to confirm everyone's the fears that they're going to do that, the fears that they're going to go through and say, okay, how can we make some more profit margin? So we're going to put in some cheaper parts here for like, that's kind of what one would expect from this size of acquisition from an investment company that's looking to squeeze every penny out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an investment company that's known for taking high risk acquisitions. I mean, they took Gibson after bankrupting. Talk about a high risk acquisition.
Heritage brands, maybe a high risk, but at the same time, heritage brands. The brand name alone is worth a lot. I mean, look at what BandLabs has done with like Teisco and Harmony. Literally, all they really had were the names to go off of, and
sure.
Teisco pedals have literally nothing to do with original Teisco designs, but they're still really cool and really affordable. And
100%, they've done a really good job there, and I think they've done. I would say BandLabs has done a really great job of building a trust relationship with the industry. I know some of the people that work there.
They make quality products. That's what happens when you make quality products at reasonable prices. You build trust with people.
I admit that I have concern. Some of my concern I can quantify and point to different things that have happened, and kind of look at the objectively. It's owned by a very large investment company now, and this is kind of what I expect to happen. Other concerns are just more of the just general, like, kind of just the gut feeling concern that I can't necessarily quantify, and I don't know if I can really justify. I can feel it. I want them to continue to do well, and I want to be able to, in a few years when I've got more disposable income, maybe be able to walk into a store and grab a dual rectifier or whatever's new from the Mesa line and just like, oh, this still sounds as good as they used to, and they're reasonable prices still, and be able to walk out and be happy with the amp that I got off the rack, instead of, if I wanted a Mesa in a few years and I wanted a good sounding Mesa, to have to track down a pre-Gibson acquisition. Like, no one wants to be able to do that with the gear that they've grown up loving.
Yeah.
And can finally afford.
Yeah.
We'll see how many years it takes for me to get to that point. But
I don't know. It depends on how long COVID-19 lasts, I think.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know. But
my husband's grandmother got her vaccine, so yay.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I'm anxiously awaiting mine, but I can't imagine I'm anywhere near priority list on that.
Oh, we're like the last group. Was it like 4 or 5 groups? We're the last one. You might be higher up, though. I don't know.
I mean, I'm 26 and healthy, relatively.
Yeah.
Healthy-ish. Healthy enough.
Yeah. And I can work from home for as long as my job exists.
Sure. I've been working in the office quite a bit lately. Yeah. Kind of wigs me out a little bit, but it's a job.
Yeah.
It's income. Yeah. I need it. All right. Well, I think that's more or less. I think that's the end of my rant that I've been kind of stewing on for the last week, kind of just reading through all that and seeing friends at Taylor post about hey, I own part of Taylor now.
I'm sorry, I forgot to talk about one of my What's News, and I really want to shout out Brian from the back end and Pinebox. And then he did a deal where you could get a Gale and the motel by Pinebox, which is actually really cool. It's got a little toggle, so the toggle up is
Uh-huh.
more headroom and less compression, less distortion, and down is more like a traditional Rat. And then the Gale just sounds as good as ever. I said I actually filmed demos for both of these that I'll drop this week. I don't know why the Gale isn't like a super popular pedal, like for real. Like I don't know why this isn't on like a ton of boards. I have the pink one. It's kind of frustrating to try to get it lit right, but I asked for the pink one. So yeah, these are two really cool pedals, and I bought them. I'm happy with my purchase. But I love the Gale. It's one of my favorite dirt pedals of all time.
Just saw a headline pop up on one of the articles I had pulled up for reference that breaking news, Phil Spector has passed away.
Okay.
Yep. Interesting.
Well, he did like murder 2 women.
Yep. I was going to say, like, for a moment, like, oh yeah, that sounds fun.
He was a phenomenal producer who really, his production really, I feel like it embodies the feeling of being young. Like you listen to those songs, no matter how old or young you are or were when you first heard them, and that just sounds like the exuberance of youth, like that wall of sound. Really genius.
Sure.
He died of COVID-19? Oh. Man. So how many people did he kill? He definitely murdered one. At
Lana
least.
Clarkson. Yeah, the article I'm looking at right now is from Loudwire, and I like the headline is "Prolific Producer Plus Convicted Murderer. Phil Spector has died." That's not how I want to be remembered. So I guess
don't murder anybody.
Right. I think that seems like the safe way to avoid that. I think it's appropriate to call that out. I don't like eulogies that are all roses and conveniently forget all of the, oh yeah, by the way, he killed someone.
Yeah, he robbed somebody and their family of someone's life and companionship. But he some just truly phenomenal music and production, and it's really a shame when you tarnish your own reputation by doing something that abhorrent.
Along with the fact that it's just a shame by doing something that abhorrent.
Yeah. It's just like I don't want to sugarcoat it.
Yep.
I don't really want to sugarcoat it, but at the same time, like I don't want to discount that truly the Wall of Sound is maybe one of the most influential production. He's one of the most influential producers of all time and stuff.
Well, to end on that very sad note, sad-ish note.
The very conflicted note.
The very conflicted, like, did COVID do a bad there?
My sympathies go out to his loved ones and the loved ones of Lana Clarkson.
Indeed, I echo that, and with that, my name is Andrew.
Nobody should die of COVID-19. Get your vaccines. Wear your masks. My name is Emily. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening, understanding, all of the above.
Yeah. Thanks. We love you. Bye.
Oh, bye.